John, there are a bunch of reasons why this Colorado team is having so much success, but let's start with the penalty kill at 100% over this recent run. What are some key elements that have led to this streak?
Yeah, I think we all know, working in the media, the feed is usually on a delay. And Frank, you get your feed just seconds before I do, because we were both watching the same game. And as you text me, they're 100% on the PK. I hear Eddie Olchuk go, they're 100% on the PK, and it just fueled that. What's that? Sorry.
Since the trade deadline, they're 100% on the PK.
Right. Sorry. And so that led to a deep dive. What is it? Is it just purely the additions of, Duhaime, Trennan, guys like that, Sean Walker? Is it purely personnel? What is leading to it? I think what has been very, very evident for quite some time in Colorado is skating is a major, major element of how they're building their team. And they added guys that can skate at all levels. Doesn't matter if you're playing on the fourth line, doesn't matter if you're playing on a third line pair, if you're a big points player or not. But the big thing is the fact that they do not have to dive into the well of their top end guys to play on the PK. Between McKinnon, Drouin, even Colton. Nichushkin is the only guy in the top six that regularly plays on the PK. Here's that list. Middlestat, they average 0 to 6 seconds of shorthanded time on ice per game played, which means what? When the chips are down and you got to roll, you got to double shift them for a bit, give them extra power play time, all that stuff. They have fuel in the tank because they're not being taxed on the PK. The other part is, if they do come out for those last 4, 5, 6 seconds, they're on fire, and the power play on the other side is probably fatigued, and they're going to jump all over you. So why don't we get into a little bit of the video? Because skating being a major asset leads to great work in whether it be in the D zone, like we're going to see here, simplicity and poise off of faceoff. Lately, they're winning way more PK faceoffs, and they're clearing at a higher rate than most teams. The other part, they are in the top of the league in the last 7 games at denying passes to the slot. They could jump you. You could see the anticipation. 3 jumping options, great sticks, little chips, and this leads to an on-man rush. They don't just anticipate well with sticks. That hits the post. They anticipate well with their feet. But the moment one guy goes, they all go. But they do not stray away from the high-scoring area. They deny with simplicity. They deny with smarts. And when they can jump, they jump with 3-point pressure, as you see here, and it's up and out and almost leads to a breakaway for Lehkonen. They are relentless in their support. And again, simplicity. Why go cover someone that's away from the slot when you could just stand there and teams are going to force bad passes right on your tape? And when you can press, shrink the zone. You don't have to clear 200 feet. Just pop it to a space where Cogliano, still at his age, can jump to free space and clear those pucks.
So to me, it's not just the skating. It's that in that bottom 6, there's also a lot of size as well that stands out. And so you talked about their ability to deny passes to the slot. What are they doing against entries on the power play that have also set them up for success on the penalty?
Well, you set the table for the answer, right? The size. We've already addressed skating, and it's the 3 S's, sticks. Right? And I'll even add a 4th S, support. They start in a 1-3 stand and they fall back. If you want to create these drops on the power play breakout, they will fall back into what is like a 3-1 stand, but it's size, skating, support, and sticks. And the bigger the guys are, the longer the sticks are, and they are disrupting clean entries and clean jumps, including, we're going to see an example in Edmonton. So let's roll the entry clips against and see how good of a job. Here's your 3-1 stand. Even when the guy gets clipped a little bit, he's back on his feet. And you see Duhaime, he's going to deny the drop pass. So what are you doing? You're forcing the puck out of their hands, and they're first to the puck twice on a loose puck. Once Makar, then the next time on the weak side of forward. Here again, they drop into that 3-1 stand. Look at the reach Look at the support. You got to go through this wall. So if you overhandle, if you want to think you're going to possess and beat these guys, you're shit out of luck. And if you dump it, you have a great skating D on the back end. That's probably going to be first to the puck as well. So they're executing very consistently. But again, you see them just take away time and space. And when a guy like Devon Toews can close you, it means now here comes that 3-point pressure. Walker gets to the puck, and that's going to be up and out. And they can readjust speed and tempo. But again, it's these Nikushkin. He's actually going to deny the drop. Now they're going to outnumber them. What are they going to do? You have to rim it. There's Duhaime. Boom. Win races out of the zone. And they do it consistently well.
The Avs also lead the league in comeback wins. And I mean, we saw yesterday down 4 rip, and it's just like, they shrug, play a solid 20, 25 minutes, and boom, they come win the game. What feeds into that? What allows them to just chip away and create so much momentum?
Well, I think part of it, again, is that your top dogs aren't taxed on the PK, right? So they got fuel in the tank. And right now, with the additions of Trennan and guys like that, Duhaime, that are doing a phenomenal job on the PK. They obviously are. They're 100%. I think there's an element of, lately especially, they are near the bottom of the league in penalties taken per game played since the trade deadline. They have trimmed that down by a full penalty per game. They were at 3.28 prior to the trade deadline. Now they are 2.29 PKs per game. So that is less taxing. But it's the fact that bottom group can chip in offensively. And the clips that I pulled out for the comeback are both from Vancouver and Pittsburgh, where they were down 3-0 and 4-0. Why? Because 4 of those goals, or 3 of those goals out of those 9, were scored from bottom 6 guys or a third pair D. And when you present PK, you got to end with some sexiness, and that's why we're going to go with some excitement and comeback hockey here by Colorado. And again, they're skating, they're fast, they're quick to the pucks. You got guys like Rantanen, the Moose. He parks his butt in front of the net. Here's a 4th line, 3rd line guys. Here's Sean Walker ripping pucks. You got guys like Parise at the net. Again, you got 3rd, 4th line type guys. Here's Duhaime getting his first goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins, making it 4-2 with under 30 seconds left. You don't think that fuels that group going into intermission? Absolutely. And when in doubt, the PP, when you've got the elite talent that Colorado has, rip some 1-Ts. But watch here. You're trying to come back. It's early in the period. 27, Drouin, out of sight, out of mind. He creates his lane. And this looks like vintage, 29 and 27 for the Halifax Mooseheads. But now they're both playing for the Colorado Avalanche. And you wonder, can that Memorial Cup magic be directed towards some Stanley Cup magic? Again, here's Ross Colton on his belly, tapping it in. 3rd line, 4th line guys. That helps alleviate some of that offensive pressure from the top dogs so that they could create another east-west play. This time it's Drouin to McKinnon. And the passion and the sound and the atmosphere, every time they score in Colorado, you would think it was a power play game. And right here, Chris Letang gives that little bump to Joe. They've trained together in the offseason. I knew right there he pissed off Drew. I knew he pissed him off, and he's like, fine, you want to do that? I'm flying today. See ya. And he just takes off. Remember, Jonathan Drouin won fastest skater at the All-Star game competition several years back. He's healthy. He's flying. And if anyone's taking advantage of being in the Mile High City, it's Jonathan Drouin.
Okay, quickly. To me, it's amazing, John, that this Avs team has changed out 30% of their forward core in the last 6 weeks. That's an incredible adjustment. But when you mentioned the idea of not taxing your superstars when it comes to the penalty kill, if you were coaching the Avs in the Stanley Cup playoffs, would you divert from that strategy depending on the situation to potentially present more of a threat when it comes to scoring on the PK? Or would you stick with this idea and try and, have this Avs team stay consistent with the units that they're running?
The only time I would reconsider that is if for whatever reason you fall into penalty trouble and all of a sudden your top dogs are rotting on the bench. That's the only time I would kind of reconsider those moments. And the fact that you got a guy like McKinnon, who's a right-handed centerman, and you mostly have left-handed centermen up and down your lineup. So that's where the only change might happen. Or I might deploy those top 6 guys a little earlier. So with maybe 30 seconds left, 35 seconds left, catch them on a change. They don't expect McKinnon to jump on the ice, and all of a sudden you're creating that odd man rush and a scoring chance.
There you go. Fantastic insight as always, Jon. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.